Kettle Consulting Municipality Finance Index is made up of 4 elements, which is financial position, financial performance, budget implementation, as well as governance. I have Justin over here, and Justin will unpack for us the 4 criteria of performance. And Justin, in terms of financial performance, which is profitability, etc., how did the metros perform?
So overall, what we saw from the tool is that City of Johannesburg and City of Ekurhuleni outperformed everybody, but it doesn't mean necessarily that they were the best performers. If you really look at the cost of business within these 2 metros, they're quite high compared to the rest of the country. So obviously it gave them an added advantage purely because they charge more to their customers. Overall, that really drove them being the top performers and achievers. But I think I must emphasize that historically we have been seeing declines in terms of the volumes that they've been selling. So while their revenue might be going up, definitely their volumes of what they've been selling, whether it's water or electricity, which is the biggest component within their revenue lines, have been seeing significant decreases, and that's a combination of a few things. Obviously, Eskom can't provide electricity, for example, on a continuous basis because of load shedding, and customers are also being a little bit more green conscious as well, which is reducing overall demand for electricity.
Amazing. But I get the sense that obviously financial performance has been dismal. I'm also interested to understand what is the impact then on the financial position, which is another criteria.
Great question. And I think what typically doesn't happen very well in municipalities is about caring about the health of a balance sheet. I think we must remember that the overall health of a balance sheet for a municipality drives the fact that it can deliver services. A municipality is like any other business. It needs cash to run its business. It needs to be able to use that cash effectively so that it can deliver on the needs of those people that are within its constituency. And we've seen definitely that there's been a decline or erosion of the overall balance sheets across the board. And like I said before, I think that's really driven by the fact that we're seeing pressure on profitability across the board. I think cash flow has definitely been a big issue. You'll see that debtors days mostly are increasing. Historically, you'll see that there's been lots of indexes where you can see that suppliers are not being paid timelessly, which affects the overall economic state of a municipality. So we definitely have a problem in terms of an eroding balance sheet, and I think it's going to be an important part for incoming administrations to resolve as they go forward into the new term.
Okay, another element of interest in the tool would be the budget implementation. How would you say the metros did?
I think we must remember that ultimately budget implementation is about 2 things. One is that the use of our funds needs to be spent to deliver services, and secondly, it's an important component for local economic development. 2 of the metros achieved the highest results, which is the City of Ekurhuleni and the City of Cape Town, which ideally means that they took it seriously in terms of how they wanted to deliver on the IDPs for their citizens and those people doing business in those municipalities.
Okay, great. Now for the final element in the tool, which is governance, how would you say the metros fared?
Well, I think from a governance perspective, Prince, we must realize that there should be only good governance. It can't be anything in between. Across the board, all of the metros had issues around irregular expenditure, which means that our money was not spent in the manner that it should have been spent. So overall, there was an average performance mostly for the bigger metros like City of Cape Town, Ekurhuleni, Johannesburg. I think what was quite sad was the dismal performance in terms of the other metros that we have, where we really saw both the Auditor General really giving bad opinions on those metros, as well as the high level of irregular expenditure.